Good morning.
Great being here. First thing I'd like to mention is what a privilege it is to be able to give this message this morning. I've been truly blessed by being a member here. This church has shown us such compassion, understanding, and generosity. For this, Captain and I are really very thankful. So why this Last Supper? What was Jesus trying to show us about it? We know that he was explaining what he needed to do so that mankind would be rescued from going to hell. We know they didn't understand it at that time, but we do. See, it's only through his death and resurrection would that be possible. But could he also have been telling them what they would have to experience for his name's sake, as well as others who would come after, who claim him as Lord? Remember how many were martyred for speaking about him. He reminds us again in Luke 6:22. He says, "What blessings await you when people hate you, exclude you, mock you, curse you, as all evil because you follow the Son of Man." What happens then? He says, "Leap for joy, for greater your rewards wait for you in heaven." So, could this have been a picture of what we might have to go through ourselves? In Matthew 16:24, Jesus told his disciples, "If anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me." See, to follow a leader, you would look like belonging to a gang or maybe a terrorist group. Now, you don't just believe in the leader or the group, you believe the leader. You put into action what he tells you to do. Well, maybe this might help. One of the things that I did at night as a teenager with the gang that I hung around with, we used to steal hubcaps and taillights from a '69 Cadillac. Any of you here remember that car? You know, it had two taillights on either side. They looked like rockets. Well, I was the one who was taught how to snap it and bend it so we could take that taillight off of the car and we could sell them later. So again, I had to be taught how to go out to do something, and that's how I did it. So let's make this clear. This is what Jesus kind of mentioned. See, it's in Matthew 32:33. He said, "Therefore anyone who confesses me before men, I will also confess him before my Father who is in heaven. But whoever denies me before men, I will also deny him before my Father who is in heaven." So now that I have been adopted into the kingdom, I've been born again, what my leader Jesus tells me, I do. Well, how about you? How would you like to be seen as a nobody who can share with anybody about somebody who can save everybody? So in Mark 16:15, he tells us to go share with everyone. Acts 1:8 says, tell us to be his witness. As well as in Acts 10:42, we are told to preach everywhere and then testify about him. So Paul made it clear what is expected from us. It's in 1 Corinthians 9:14. It said, "For if I preach the gospel, I have nothing to boast of, for I am under compulsion. For woe to me is if I do not preach the gospel." Now, this one is one of Catherine's favorites. I'd love to put this in here. John 14:21. He says, "He who has my commandments and he keeps them is the one who loves me. And he who loves me will be loved by my Father, and I will love him, and I will disclose myself to him." The one I kind of like because it's interactive, and I hope it helps you internalize where they come from and use them. It's in John 14:15 and John 15:14. Pretty cute, huh? He says, "If you love me, you'll keep my commandments." And in John 15:14, "You are my friends if you do what I command you." So, as we receive the elements, we hear Jesus speaking in Matthew 26:26. Jesus took some bread and he blessed it. Then he broke it into pieces and gave it to his disciples, saying, "Take this and eat it, for this is my body." And he took the cup of wine and he gave thanks to God for it. And he gave it to them and said, "Each of you drink from it, for this is my blood, which confirms the covenant between God and his people. It is poured out as a sacrifice to forgive the sins of many." So Lord, help us understand that anytime we eat, we need to remember what he went through that saved us. It's in John 1, chapter 1:29. He tells us, "Behold, the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world." So as the communion is coming forward, I want to pray to the Lord that we have a desire to go out and share with anyone, to offer this free gift that you have been given us for your life. so that anyone who crosses our paths can have the same chance of receiving that same gift. I would humbly ask that we all do as Paul suggests in 2 Corinthians 13:5, that you truly examine yourself to see if Christ is in you, or as he finishes it with, are you frightened you'll fail the test? God bless you all.